Welcome to Basscast Radio, bringing you the best in local and national news in bass fishing, as well as interviews with some of the best anglers from all over the U.S. With your host, Brian Carter, and Hank the Bass Geek. Sponsored by Wild Wear America, Z-Bait Company, Missile Baits, Battleborn Batteries, Conrad Brothers Marine, Taylor Man's Custom Lures, Vertical Lures, and Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range.
All right, guys, Brian here at the Basscast Radio, and we are back with another great episode. Yes, as you can see, I am by myself tonight. Bass Geek has something come up, so he's got to knock it out. Hope you guys are all doing well out there in podcast land. Yeah, what a week it's been here at the Basscast.com. We wrapped up the Basscast Tournament Series this past weekend. Hope you guys all got to see the results, points champions. You guys all know Mark win and them won that. But man, what a weekend it has been. Man, that's all I can say. I don't know. It's just crazy around here. It's that time of the year. Things are starting to wrap up, but we are starting to get 2022 results. That's what I was saying. Chad and Elliot Pilson 3 times. Yes, they are a three-peat champions for the Basscast Tournament Series. So congratulations to them. I think they took home a little over $2,000. So thank you to everyone that fished with us. Really, really appreciate you guys. You're awesome. Thank you for everything you do. And we really appreciate you all. But yeah, Mike Nichols, Mark Wynn, we're our points champions this year. Guys, if you fish with the Basscast Tournament Series and you win our points champions, you get to enter the Classic for free. So the last event costs you nothing. And then you get a chance to win a buttload of money. So congratulations to them. Cat wrapped up their fall championship as well on Smith Mountain Lake on Sunday. All the results are on thebasscast.com. So and while we're talking about schedules, if we don't have your schedule, you're losing out. We've got about a dozen schedules already. I've got a couple more to put on the website. But we'll get that up really, really soon. We're waiting on one more. Our kayak series schedule is out. Our bass boat series is out. And our 150 and under series should be out really, really soon. So we look forward to getting all that out for you guys. So you guys can prepare for next year. Shows, guys, we got Christmas coming up. Merry Christmas to everyone if we don't get back on between now and Christmas. But we're off for like 2 weeks. Then we go to North Carolina. I'm looking to go down there. And then we're going to the East Tennessee Valley Fishing Expo. And then we're home for like maybe a month. And then it's to Bassmaster Classic, which tonight, our winner, Shane Powell, guys, Fish Bass Nation Championship, is going to be fishing in 2022. So we're going to have him on and talk about how he did it. A lot of you guys who do know Shane, he fishes the Alabama Bass Trail. It's an awesome series down there in Alabama. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, guys, head on over to Rumble and check out Basscast Radio. That's where it is located. All our videos are parked there. Or you can just go to outdoorobsessionsradio.com and click the link. Also, amazing year. Thank you all. Great sponsors again in 2021. We already have a few new sponsors who have signed up for 2022. Want to thank English Choice Marine, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range, Battleborn Batteries, Wild Wear America, Conrad Brothers Marine, Lisa Lindsay and Associates. If you guys want to buy a house down South Boston, Virginia, Bugs Island, all down that way, give her a call at 434-572-2645. And John Cruz at Missile Baits. Here it is, guys. Tell them thank you for sponsoring Basscast Radio and thank you for sponsoring the Basscast.com. So you heard it, guys. Shane Powell tonight is going to tell us how it all went down. Guys, it was 378 anglers competed in this event, and he won an opportunity to go fish Lake Hartwell March the 4th through the 6th. The Basscast.com will be there. Looking forward to it. So we'll be right back with Mr. Shane Powell. All right, guys, we are back with Mr. Shane Powell. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here, Brian. I appreciate you having me on.
Congratulations on the big win. Your opportunity to go fish the 2022 Bassmaster Classic. I know it's going to be
it's a dream, no doubt about it.
A little nerve-wracking already, but let's start the beginning, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got this fishing bug.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I've grown up around a lake and I cared nothing about fishing. My dad, actually my best friend, he would come up to the lake with us, and him and my dad would go fishing, and I would just hang out on the sandbar because I had no desire. And then about 14 years old, because my dad always brim fished or whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't really about it, catching little small fish. Well, his friend Bass Fish, he took me one afternoon. We'd been out at the sandbars, hanging out, doing whatever. He took me fishing, and I didn't get a bite, but he caught 4 bass, and they were all 2.5 pounds plus, I would say.
Wow.
Which is a lot bigger than a brim.
Yes, it is.
So I was like, man, I got to get into this. That sounds like a lot of fun. So I bought some rubber worms like he was throwing and tried to duplicate what he was doing, and then caught a couple fish. And I mean, it's been ever since then. I've never stopped trying to catch them. So that's really how it started. I got a lot later start than a lot of guys that fish, and I've been around it my whole life and just never had any desire.
Man, we've heard all types of stories, brother. I mean, one guy, he loved golfing, and, he built the whole fishing thing on golfing and, paying entry fees, just that whole aspect of it. So, I mean, we've heard many different ways people get involved in fishing.
Yeah. I mean, like the Shy Rocks, they were always into motocross, and they had to have something to fill that void, and they got into fishing. So, yeah.
Oh, Hunter Shy Rock. So, when did the tournaments, who got you? So you went fishing, bought some plastics. Talk about your first tournament, man. Well, how'd you get involved in the tournament? I mean, of all things,
well, really, I was one of those people that as soon as I started catching some, what I thought was catching fish, I actually wanted to be a tournament fisherman. And the problem was back then there was no high school or anything.
Nope.
So I was 15, and I would search looking for tournaments that I could fish, and there was nothing that you had to be at least 16 years of age to get into. So, and my father, he didn't fish, and the guy that taught me, Ronnie, he just liked to go for the fun of it. So he wouldn't go for a tournament. So I literally for a year tried to get into tournament fishing and had no avenue to get there. And then once I turned 16, they would let me start fishing tournaments. And the first tournament I ever fished, me and my buddy fished it. And we ran down the lake, and the motor blew up going down the lake, and I never made a cast. And that was my first tournament.
Wow.
Everybody has these stories about coming in second or winning or getting big fish.
Yes.
I never even made a cast in my first fishing tournament.
Holy cow. So you didn't give up, because we're still here today.
Yeah, right. That's right.
So what happened? I mean, what type of club did you guys join? Like a federation or something of that nature, or just a local bass club?
I didn't join any club really. What was it called then? Bassmaster used to have the weekend series.
Yes.
I fished those as a co-angler for 5 or 6 years. The first year I had a boater that was a super nice guy, and he let me for the next 3 years just room with him because I didn't have a tournament boat. I didn't have anything. And like I say, there was no high school stuff. So none of my buddies fished or anything. It was all just myself. So I would I would drive up to in high school, I would drive up to a random tournament and stay with a buddy that I met that was, 30 years older than me and hang out with him for the weekend and fish. And
Now
then
that's a story.
and then I'd come home, like I say, and then it didn't matter if I did good or not because nobody I knew really knew anything about it. So, I mean, then I just stuck with it. And then it was I went to a junior college for the first year, and I actually fished with a guy that was on the Auburn fishing team.
Ooh.
He was my boater. I was a co-angler, and he told me about the fishing team. And I'd already been accepted to Auburn. I just knew nothing about because all of that was still just getting started as well.
Right.
So he told me where to be when to, to sign up. But they didn't really have many people. There was no type of, if you wanted to be on the team, you're on the team. There wasn't any type of recruitment or anything.
So what year? What year was this?
This was 2009.
Okay.
That I got to Auburn. Went, met Clay. He's the one that showed me where to be when and all this stuff. Well, then the very first meeting I went to, there was just a little small, scrawny kid that was a year younger than me and sitting in front of me that cut a couple wise cracks while we were sitting there. And I got talking to him, and it was Jordan. So then we kind of hit it off, hung out some, and then we fished a couple of the qualifying tournaments, and we both did pretty good in them. So then before long, we ended up being team partners, and we were team partners all through college.
Wow.
We started the same semester and graduated the same semester. Sure did.
That's awesome. That's taken away from that. That's a whole lot. I mean, especially where Jordan is now, but it's a whole lot of knowledge right there.
Oh,
and you guys growing together as anglers and being part of the college series.
Yeah, no, we learned the side scan, the down scan, when drop shot came out, all that stuff. I mean, we were, like I say, we both together learned all that stuff. Sure did.
That's awesome, dude. All right. So we scroll forward a few years, like 10 years. No, it ain't that long. Like 5 or 6 years. And what did you, after you got out of college, what'd you start doing from there, man? Did you look for clubs, or did you just still fish whatever popped up on the weekends, a little weekend tournaments, or?
Oh, I fished the opens. I fished some coasters. I fished, and I'll still fish some of that stuff. I didn't do as well as like Jordan. He fished 3 tournaments and he was gone, which I had a feeling he'd make the Elite Series. Well, I did that for a year or two, and I always did decent, but there wasn't any money in it, and I never moved on. So I kind of just took a step back and said, well, this, and what got me was I would fish against guys, which one, actually my team partner, I met him fishing the coasters. He already had a business and all that was set. So he would come and fish these tournaments, and if he didn't catch anything, it was no big deal to him because he was already, making money other way. So I thought, well, that's what I need to do. I need to come up with a way to make money on my own. Then I can fish these tournaments, and if I don't catch anything or I don't do well, who cares?
But it's a learning experience.
That's right. No, it took those years to learn what I thought was the right avenue. So then after a couple years of that, I took a step back and fished smaller stuff. And then actually Tim Fox, who's my partner for the ABT, we just grew to know each other through the coasters. And then we decided to say the heck with the coasters and start fishing team tournaments around the house.
Then it's Alabama Bass Trail thing started.
Oh, that's right.
This thing's done grown. I mean, this one was done a heck of a job with this thing.
Oh man, the first year trying to get in, we had to wake up at midnight. I mean, had to be right there, Johnny on the spot to actually sign up for the tournament, get in, or we would have never got in the series. It takes, I think every year it takes about 2 hours to fill up completely, 225 boats.
Holy cow.
Well, 450 boats, 225 per division.
Right, per division.
Right, yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you know, so what made you jump into the opens again?
I honestly, I just cherry pick stuff around the house. I don't have any desire to be a professional fisherman. I'm not trying to make the elite series or make the MLF or anything like that. I
Right.
just, whatever I feel like I can fish that I'll make money on, that's what I fish. I've
Hey
gotten to
guys,
where
that's what the basscast.com is all about, man. This young man right here.
that's what I've gotten I say pretty good. I've gotten pretty good on Eufaula, and I mean, I try to win as much money on that lake as I can. And that was our big thing about this tournament that we just fished was we knew if we could make it to the Bass Team Championship, we would have a pretty good shot of, one of us making it to the Classic. So it really just all worked out.
You're right about that. It worked out for you, man. 23.5 is what you end up having.
That's right.
So talk to us about the whole, I mean, like I said, when I was reading the press release, I read where you're from. I'm like, that's got to be his home lake, or, a lake that's really close to him, that's like, like us. We talked about Smith Mountain Lake is our home lake.
Right.
And, there are a lot of guys, who can go up to Smith Mountain Lake and, they can hammer them. So what, I read the press release. The conditions were a little iffy for a couple of days, and then you mentioned something about a warm front coming through.
Yeah.
You probably you probably didn't practice at all, did you?
I just rode around just enough to see kind of what the fish were doing. I never fished or anything, and the problem is on that lake nowadays is if you're someone that fishes it a good bit and has a decent amount of knowledge, if you get seen somewhere, people automatically turn in there to see what you're looking at. So I try to avoid that as much as possible. I know we've won the last 2 ABT tournaments there, and we haven't practiced the second for either one of those.
Wow.
Just to try to stay away from
other people. Oh, hey, I heard the stories here, man. It's a couple guys on Smith Mountain Lake, and they telling me straight up, it's like if they see people, they'll throw the rods down, take off.
Oh yeah, that's half the battle is the fishermen. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Let me ask you a question. I interviewed an angler a while back, and we talked about this, the mindset of the whole thing. And you're definitely going into it as, if I win, I win. If I go championship, the Bassmaster Classic, hey, it's the greatest thing ever happened. But do you ever think sometimes being on that home lake, and this was 378 anglers. I mean, this is some of the best from all over.
Right.
The mind can, kind of play games, or were you dialed in and ready to go?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, with those people being from out of town, I was fine with it. I mean, one of my good buddies that I fish with a lot, the lake was fishing tough, and he said it best. He said when it's fishing tough for us, it's brutal on the other guys. So I kind of took that to my advantage. The only thing I wasn't sure of was the first day. I didn't know what kind of weight it was going to take, because I couldn't get information for a couple of weeks, and they had a Good Friday tournament, but they never posted the results of it. So I never really knew exactly. I didn't know if 20 pounds was going to be good or if 13 pounds was going to be good. That was really the only thing that I didn't know. I wasn't knowing for sure. So I think we caught almost 15 pounds the first day, which I figured would be decent anyway for being December. Like I said, it was 7th place, which was right where we needed to be. So, but that was really the biggest thing that I just had an uncertainty about was the weights. I didn't want to, how it is. You don't want to catch too little and then.
Yeah, that's true too. You don't want to use up all your spots at the same time. And that's we've actually had that in the last couple of podcasts we did with the Bass Pro Shops US Open Championship. Okay. Because it was a 3-day event. I mean, we talked to the winners and we talked to local anglers, and the first day, I think that event wasn't taking but like 10 to 15 pounds. And a lot of them didn't want to use up all their fish. and just kind of went play fishing.
Right.
Or searching for more fish.
And that was our problem, was we wanted, because you had to make the top 3 out of 180 teams. So, I mean, you've got to be catching them pretty good. So we were kind of stuck in between doing well enough to make the top 3, but not just, unloading on everything we knew to make sure we made it there, and then just, hoping to scrape up enough to one of us to go to the Classic.
That's awesome.
So it was
I will
a toss up.
Well, talk to us about the event itself, man. Like I said, you probably don't want to tell all your tricks because that is your home lake, but we'd love to know how you did it.
The first 2 days was all on a crankbait. They were all out on the river ledge. We actually were headed down the lake, and I saw a place that was historically been pretty good, but I didn't know this time of year. So, and when we rode down, we were both 30 and no one was sitting on it. So I was like, well, we need to at least, make 10 casts there and see what happens. Pulled in. I mean, it was right off the bat. We caught 3 for probably 9 pounds right then. And that kind of told me then, well, if they're here, I can think of 7 or 8 other places that they probably are as well.
Right.
We just started running the top stuff I was thinking that they should be on if they were there, and we ended up with 14 pounds pretty quick doing that. So the next day we were kind of thinking we would do the same thing, and it was a little tougher. We ended up having, I think, 12 and a half pounds, all on a crankbait at this point.
Now, were you guys on this crankbait? Was there something particular you guys concentrating on? Lay downs, trees, rocks?
It was just river ledge.
River ledge. Okay.
That's right. It would be anywhere from 18, I say 15 to 20 feet, just random places that they get. Day 3, once we had made the championship, well, Tim, he's not from there. He's just been my team partner for a couple years.
Okay.
And he said he was out. He said, if we make it to the final 2 days, that he's not a deep fisherman. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He said, I could have it. He's just going to stay around the ramp, fish for 2 days and see what comes of it. So I ran back down the lake, went through all the places we had been fishing, and I never got a bite. So
wow.
I'm like, yeah. So at this point, I wasn't spun out, but I'm like, I'm going to come up with something here pretty quick. So I just went around, found a random school of fish, couldn't catch anything on a crankbait, started throwing a drop shot and caught, I think, 7 pounds doing that, which I knew was not going to get me anywhere. So I just, I kept around, fishing brush piles, fishing shallow, never materialized. I went back through the places I had been fishing, and I caught a 3-pounder and then my second biggest one, which brought me up to 10 pounds. So I knew then that that bite was still going to materialize. I just had to be in the right place at the right time. It gave me confidence for the next day to know that, hey, if this is still a thing and I can catch bigger fish doing it, I just kind of have to stick with it the next day.
Now you said that, that you went through your spots the first couple hours, then you came back to some of your spots. Was there something that changed? The weather changed? I mean, I know the weather did change for the final day, right?
It did. During the day, it's just I think a lot of times you just have to be at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had been through those places. That was my 3rd time going through them. Just the second time I went through them mid-morning, I still didn't catch anything. But I know those fish didn't just leave. I knew it was going to be just, at that point in my mind, I was like, it's just a timing thing. I've got to eventually hit them. Well, then once I got back to the weigh-in and I was leading by 1.5 pounds, I realized then that they just weren't biting anywhere. It wasn't just, that gave me all the confidence in the world to go try it again on the next day.
Final day, man. Was you nervous? You knew you had it in the bag, or man, it's gonna do you confident, guys.
I mean, I didn't know I didn't have it in the bag because it'd been I was thinking.
Yeah, you said it's a pound. I mean, you're leading by a whopping pound. I mean.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like I had it, in the bag by any means, but I was thinking it's going to be another struggle like the first day was. And I ran through all my places, and the difference, I think, was it was 41 degrees that day before, and it was I think it was like 67 degrees the next morning.
Yeah.
And through all the stuff, and I mean, it was just everywhere I stopped, I'd catch 1 or 2, and then once I'd made my rounds, I had about 12.5 pounds, which I knew then that having a 1.5 pound lead, they were going to need 14 to catch me, and that was about the best either one of those guys had done, the whole week. So
Right.
that gave me some confidence. And then by the close to the end of the day, I caught another 3-pounder on a drop shot that I felt like at that point, they're going to have 15 plus just to even
Wow.
make it a game. So I thought I had a legitimate shot at that.
Did you have most of your spots by yourself? Did you share anything?
I had maybe one place that I saw someone else on, but everything else, I mean, I had the run of it. That was what I told my buddy was the crazy thing is I had all these places that had fish on them and nobody was fishing them, and I still couldn't catch much on them. I mean, it was just I guess it's just the time of year, the weather or something. It was just tough.
Now, drop shotting, what's your setup for drop shot? I mean, everybody kind of does a little different.
Right. I mean, the 15-pound braid,
Mm-hmm.
I think doing 10. I usually throw 10 on Eufaula fluorocarbon just because there's, I don't get super lightweight with it. It's not, you don't have to there. Leader probably, I don't know, 12 to 15 inches. And I was throwing a 1/4 ounce weight just because the wind was getting up and I wanted to make sure it got to the bottom.
Right.
And I was just throwing just a morning dawn robo worm. I mean, nothing crazy, but they've been biting that same color for years on that lake. It's always, I've experienced them with a bunch of different colors, and I mean, day in and day out, if I need to catch one, that's the best color I know to do it with.
So Lake Eufaula, for those who haven't been there, who've never been there before, what type of lake is it, man? I mean, it's a clear lake, stained. Yeah.
That's the thing, though. It was clear when we were there. It only takes, I mean, literally 2 inches of rain and that whole place will muddy up. And that was one thing I was worried about was the fish on that lake. They stay on the river from, I don't know, I'd say once they get off the bed, May or so, they'll get out there and they'll stay on the river channel somewhere until December or so when a flood comes through and
Right.
it muddies up, and then they all disperse and go to the bank. A lot of shallow flats, 8 foot or so, brush piles. I mean, you can spend 3 hours looking and you'll find 50 brush piles on that lake. That's just kind of the thing nowadays.
So that side scan is pretty important right now on that boat, ain't it?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
What electronics you running with, man?
Humminbird.
Heck yeah.
Humminbird, nothing to Hummingbird's right there in Eufaula too. So if I've got a lady, I call her and she takes care of it for me.
That is awesome.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the win.
I appreciate it.
I know probably the nerves are probably a little tore up. I mean, you had it, but I mean, there's another big event coming up that you get the opportunity to fish is Lake Hartwell, March the 4th through the 6th, and it gets cold down there, boys and girls. I mean, I walked from the hotel to the weigh-in center one year. I think we wore 3 layers of clothes, and it wasn't but 2 blocks. I mean, you talking about getting cold? It gets cold.
I think it was 2015. I think it was the coldest first day of I think it was like maybe 6 degrees or something when they took it. It was just unbelievable. Yeah.
Yes, I was there for that event.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the event I'm talking about, because like I said, it was cold. So it's gonna be a little different because you guys are used to you're dinner in Alabama, so it's gonna be a little bit of change weather-wise.
Should be. I know Lake Martin, which is about 3 hours north of me. It seems that, from what I can tell, it sets up a little bit like Hartwell. I mean, not a ton, but it's still the same deep, clear type deal. So and I fished there a ton. That's really all I have to go on right now. And the problem too is I just now have qualified, and the lake goes off limits January 1st. So I've got 2.5 weeks to
And a Christmas holiday in between, and
Yeah.
New Year's in between.
New Year's and everything. Yeah, like I say, I'm gonna have to sacrifice something to get up there.
Wow. Lots of map reading, lots of electronics, and
That's right.
looking at past tournament results and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, just the typical doing your research.
Lots of research. Well, brother, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking with us. We wish you
Yes.
the best of luck in your first ever Bassmaster Classic. It's
Hey, I
gonna be
appreciate
it's gonna be a brand new thing for you. You're gonna be up on a big stage.
it.
Dave Mercer is gonna be hopefully announcing your name a couple times. So
At least twice.
at least twice, whether you have fish or not. So hopefully you have fish.
That's
But I
right.
think you will, man. So
I appreciate it.
don't let the week.
That's one thing. That's the main thing to take away from this so far is you don't realize how many people you have rooting for you until you do something like this, and then they all come out and text you or call you or Facebook you or whatever. So it's been it's already been an experience like I wasn't ever anticipating. So
Wait till you get the crazy media there asking all the crazy questions.
right.
Because I've been there twice. So this will be my third year because it was back to back. And then I think they went to Texas. Then we went burned to Birmingham, Alabama twice.
Yeah.
So now back up. So yeah, we've got a few of them up on the wall here. So, and I love South Carolina. And it's nice because that's like 5 hours from the house.
Oh, nice. About the same for me.
So that makes it really nice. That's cool. That makes it really nice. So it's going to be interesting, hopefully fun. And like I said, maybe some temperatures will warm up and it won't be as cold as it has been in the past.
Praying. Yeah, I'm praying for that.
Well, thank you for coming on. Any sponsors that you would like to thank? Anyone you'd like to thank before we wrap it up?
No, man, it's just me. I mean,
All right, so what do you do to pay for the whole thing since it's just you? You said you looked to start in a business or you looked to start before. I know throwing
Well-
back a ways, but I mean, people don't understand the time that this thing takes.
Right. Well, every dollar I've made fishing wise, I've saved it up, and I bought rental houses with. So that's kind of my like on the side to pay for fishing if it doesn't pay for itself type stuff. But my family has a garage door business here in Dothan, and I mean we've been doing that 30 something years. So
That's awesome.
I'll always be a part of that too.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Guys, we'll be right back. All right, guys, man, really appreciate Shane coming on and talking with us tonight. Shane Powell, that is. Guys, head on over. There is his social media. Make sure you give him a follow. He didn't got 3,700 followers. Let's blow the thing to 5,000 followers before he heads to the Bassmaster Classic down on Lake Hartwell. Really look forward to meeting him, talking to a lot of other great anglers as well. And just be honest, Bassmaster Classic's one hell of a great time. And we have a great time as well. And we get to hang out with everyone and get to see everyone. When you've been doing it for a little while, it's like a family reunion. And that's how we kind of treat it. It's like going to the expos, Richmond Expo. I know pretty much everyone there, get to meet a few new people, but it's a family reunion and we get to hang out and talk and catch up. And I mean, I know they're there to make money and that's cool and have put out their product and promote what they have new coming out as well. But it is a great time to get to see everyone. So guys, come on out for the Bassmaster Classic. Lake Hartwell, March the 4th through the 6th. And if you see us there, please say hello. So again, thank you to him. Congratulations to him. Virginia's had a couple different anglers do this whole thing, qualify for the Bassmaster Classic. Jeff Luger, I think he did it twice. And Top Cop. He did it. So a lot of great people here in Central Virginia have made it to the Bassmaster Classic, and congratulations to him. And, he's fishing, I say it, Alabama Bass Trail, where it started and where it is today is awesome. I mean, they do a heck of a job over there. And, we get our press releases here from them. We post it for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. But I love to go to one of their events. I think it'd be awesome as crap to get in there just to go to one and say I went to an Alabama Trail event. So maybe we can make that happen. But I got to head to Georgia first. I got to go down there for an event. So to try to be everywhere we can be. But thank you guys all for listening to tonight's show. I can't promise anything about next weekend. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. Then we got New Year's after that. But our goal is to get one more show up for 2021. Thank you guys all for listening. Thank you to these awesome sponsors right here. Make sure you guys are heading over and follow them today. And don't forget, check us out on Rumble. That's where you can watch all the podcasts that we upload. So thank you all for watching. Thank you guys all for listening. iTunes, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast, you name it. Head on over, hit the bell, hit the follow, and let's watch this channel grow. And leave a comment, whether you like it or not. Comments help as well. So thank you guys, and have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Basscast Radio, the best in local and national bass fishing news. To listen to more episodes, check us out on all the podcasting networks. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, thebasscast.com, and Basscast News.